What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is actually an emergency video that I'm recording and editing ASAP because I have something I really need to tell you guys that especially is time relevant because the market just took a fat dump, a big steaming pile of dump. And there's something that I think is just massive, and it's a reason that I'm emergency wiring money over into my stockbroker so that I can buy as much of a certain stock as possible. So stick around for all of that, and stick around for a deep dive into a stock that I think is going to do at least a 3x multiple by the end of the year, but I think more like a 5 to a 10x multiple. Okay, if you guys follow the stock market, if you have a stock brokerage app, if you trade stocks, then you know the whole market across the board has taken a big dump, especially tech stocks. Now, there's a lot of talk around the entire, world basically about, is the crash coming? Is this going to be like the 2008 crash? Are we about to see everything just dump and dump and dump? In my humble opinion, absolutely not. We are not going to see that. If you want to see more about why the crash has happened, if you want to understand why this is not a long-term bear signal, then you can kind of look around and look into basically how 10-year treasury bonds have gone up in percentages, and that basically is the reason that people have sold off the stocks. There's a lot to it, but that's not what I'm here for. What I'm telling you is that, in my opinion, none of this investment advice, this is just a buy the effing dip situation, right? Right now, everything is just on a big clearance, and especially tech stocks specifically. For me, already, I was very bullish on quite a few different stocks. I was already loading into these stocks, and I was expecting, there's volatility happening right now. I was expecting we could either possibly keep screaming up, or we could see a bit of a correction. What we're seeing right now is a correction, and basically I think a lot of people are very scared. But if you've been in investments for a long time, you know that it's basically buy things when people are scared. Buy when there's blood in the streets. Don't buy when everyone's FOMOing it. Don't buy when it seems like a sure thing because it's already gone up 20 times or whatever. So right now, I think it's a perfect time to basically buy anything that you already were convicted in. If you already thought the stocks that you were purchasing or the crypto that you're purchasing, whatever it is that you own, was going to do great by the end of the year, I think this is just a great clearance sell. So let's talk about what stock that I'm about to YOLO all of my money into and make a big all or nothing bet on, because I think it's going to do extremely well this year. So the stock that I'm talking about that I'm extremely bullish on, it is ticker symbol SPSE, space. This is Virgin Galactic. Now, you've heard before in some of my previous videos, especially the one that I explained my portfolio, how much I own of space. It's one of my top holdings. It's one of my best performing assets. It's done extremely well since the March crash from COVID all the way until now. But right now, it is in an extremely great position. In my opinion, definitely oversold, and I think it's a fantastic play if you are willing to weather some volatility and you are looking for something that's risky. I'm someone who loves risk. I'm not scared to have risky things in my portfolio, but I believe heavily in this company. Now, over the last couple of weeks, basically it was at somewhere around $55, and we had this very important test flight date where it was basically going to make or break the stock. Let me back up for a second and explain to you just quickly what this is. Virgin Galactic is the same Richard Branson who owns Virgin Airlines. Virgin Galactic, the basic idea of this is that they are going to be doing commercial flights where they take people into the atmosphere, into space, low Earth, basically below low Earth orbit, but still in space. And they're going to basically fly people up there so they can basically experience no gravity and basically experience space for a short period of time, not days in space. It's going to be either, 10, 20 minutes or a couple hours, and then they're going to come right back down and land on Earth. No big deal. It's just like pretty much a fun thing, and they've already got, I think it's over 1,000 tickets sold, and these are multi-million-dollar tickets. They recently closed their ticket sales, and that is actually going to be a really good thing, which I'll explain in a minute. And then they also have future prospects of a lot of different things. For example, one of the things that is possibly going to be in the future pipeline is doing suborbital flights to different countries that are much faster. So basically right now it takes, 8-9 hours to fly from America to the UK. They're going to be able to get that down to around 2 hours by taking you up extremely high where normal airplanes can't make it, and then you can travel much faster, come back down, land at a spaceport over in the UK or China or Australia, wherever it needs to be. That opens up a huge ability for them to make money as they expand the business. Okay, so now you understand a bit more about what this stock actually is, what this company is, and what they're planning to do. Basically, they had a date for a test flight, and this last test flight is the one that they need to successfully fly before they can start their public commercial flights where they start flying those people who have already purchased tickets. So this test flight was coming up, and it was the weekend before this weekend, and unfortunately, they had to delay the test flight. So the price was at 55, and what was going to happen basically is if that test flight was successful last weekend, that stock price was going to shoot up. I bet you $75, $80, something like that, possibly even more. And if the test flight either failed or was canceled, the price was going to come down. So that's the unfortunate thing, is that basically back a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, you were making a bet on, is this going to work or not? And so since the test flight was delayed, it didn't fail, it was just delayed, the price has now come down to, I think it's $36 a share. So right now it is extremely oversold because a lot of people who are very hypey and were just trying to make a short-term play have sold off. But people who are here for the long-term play of the end of the year, I think it's still a fantastic stock. In fact, in my opinion, I think it is one of the best stocks. And again, it's one of the biggest ones in my portfolio. Now, let me go into a little bit about what's happening with them, what they're basically a summary of their presentation that they recently did, their investor presentation summary. And you can kind of understand exactly what they're doing, what their dates are that are coming up, and where they're going in the next few months, as well as where they're going to be by the end of the year. So fortunately for us, Reddit has an extremely dedicated community for Virgin Galactic. And so user Moonraker Rocket basically just cut all of this amazing information into quick and easy to follow bullet points. So the first thing I want to read is the fact that the test flight that was going to happen last weekend is now pushed towards May. And May seems a long time away, and that's why we've seen this stock sell off. When that flight happens and it's successful, the price is going to moon. Not only after that test flight is successful, after that, Richard Branson will be on the very first public flight, and that is going to build huge hype. That is when they're going to start releasing the ability to purchase more tickets, which then is going to make their next quarterly earnings statement much, much, much higher, which is then also going to drive the price up. So let me read some of these. Maintenance and upgrades to VMS Eve and Unity to take 4 months after the test program completion. Then tourism and research activity is going to begin in early 2022. So again, this is a long play, but you can definitely bet that the price of the stock is going to go up based on the fact that after that test flight is successful, they know that the first public flights will be happening in early 2022. That will be priced in well before those flights actually happen. That's bullish for me. Spaceport America will be the home of manufacturing and commercial activity, but Fleet will be able to travel to other spaceports as new spaceships and motherships are produced, targeting 3 motherships and 3 spaceships per spaceport to enable 3 flights per day. Next up, this one I thought was really interesting. Italian Air Force partnership, astronaut training and research. First commercial flight after Richard Branson will be 3 astronauts and payloads and revenue generating flights. Nothing extra to announce yet, but active conversations with other bodies also happening, which basically means that they're getting basically military or government contracts to train future astronauts from right now Italian Air Force. And so this is going to be something that also leads to a whole new area where they can make money, is basically training new astronauts or Air Force military personnel for other countries, other government personnel. And as space becomes more and more important, we're going to need a lot more people to be trained a lot more quickly. And it's going to be a lot better to do it in real life than to do it in simulations. So this is going to be a huge area for them to make money as well. Sales remain at 1,000 reservations and 600 bookings due to closure of sales, and these will reopen following Richard Branson's promotional flight to capitalize on momentum. Again, they're letting the price of the stock stay down right now so that it doesn't get out of hand, so that when all this stuff really does happen, then the price can go go crazy high, can be hyped up, and it actually makes sense. They have a strong balance sheet with $666 million in cash equivalents, spending around $60 million per quarter, which basically means that they are doing $240 million every year of spending expenses, and they have 666 ominous dollars. So they can basically keep this whole operation going for another 3 years around with just the cash they have on hand. They also have many other ways to raise cash. They could issue new stock, which wouldn't be the best, but it still wouldn't really matter in my opinion for my thesis. But they could also open up those ticket reservations and booking reservations and raise money that way. It's not hard for them, but they're also not in a bad position. All right, so there you have it. That's the summary of the investor talk that they just gave. And like I said, I think a lot of people were getting hyped up on this stock because that test flight was coming. And if it was successful, then huge things would have happened very quickly afterwards. The Richard Branson flight would have been announced, at least the date of it, for this year. And now it looks like everything's being pushed back a little bit, which really has given the stock breathing room, which really has brought the price down to a much more appetizing level. And in my opinion, if you bought in the 50s, not investment advice, just hold on. I honestly, my price target for this stock is at least $100 by the end of this year. More realistically, I do just want to be conservative right there. But what I really think this stock is going to do is 150 or 200, possibly even more, because of the actual fundamentals of this company, but also the extremely exponentially expanding, industry of space travel as well as space tourism, combined with the fact that this is hype. Like, there's going to be a lot of hype behind it. It has literally space as the ticker, and it's also got a lot of PR that's basically happening. Richard Branson is extremely famous. There's a lot of celebrities who are booked onto these bookings, these 1,000 reservations and 600 bookings, like Justin Bieber, a couple other people that I can't really remember off the top of my head. But when these famous people go up, you're damn right, they're going to be putting it on their Instagram, putting it on their YouTube, putting it on their stories, and people are going to be going, I'm going to open my Robinhood app and buy some of that stock, because they're flying some pretty famous people up there. That's it for this. I just wanted to really quickly talk to you about this. Basically, I'm going to be buying as soon as I can. I'll be buying some on Monday. A good portion of my money comes in on Wednesday. So really, hopefully the stock is still suppressed pretty hard by Wednesday. And I'll be putting as much as I possibly can fit into this, even though I already hold a ton of it, because in my opinion, these are great prices. For you, you got to do whatever you want to do, but I also think that this whole market correction, this whole market crash that just happened is not doomsday. It's not the end of everything. I do think it's just a great position to buy anything that you already were loaded up on and you already have conviction on, because I think that they will be doing great as they recover, and then also be doing great as we move further into the year. So just want to get this emergency video up really, really fast. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys want to get 2 free stocks worth up $1,450 each, you can actually sign up for Webull using the link below. You'll get 2 free stocks when you deposit over $100, and each of those stocks can be worth up to $1,450. Definitely a really great deal. Go check that out below. And if you're interested in cryptocurrency, you should absolutely check out the links below as well. Sign up for BlockFi. You'll get $250 free worth of Bitcoin. And that is it for this video. I will see you guys in the very next one.